Hi all, and thank you for joining. Today we will review a few topics that will help you understand what excellent, complete and cohesive content means for Tours by Locals, for when you are creating new content or updating current tours. We will show you examples and discuss some best practices. Firstly, we will go over the marketing mindset, which is the way guides position the tour content in our platform. This tour content should count with some particular and unique elements so the traveler is able to appreciate the extra value on a tour provided by a specific guide, which will ultimately lead to increasing of the inquiries and also to more bookings. So when creating content, don't just add words into a text box. Really think through where you're adding value, how you're sharing information, and appealing facts in the overview, how you're setting the expectations in the itinerary, along with complete information in other sections of the tour. Our goal is to have cohesive, complete, and appealing content according to higher standards, which will help us exceed our travelers' expectations. There are three main things to take into account when creating or updating content. Those are: the first one, making the content easy to read with clear ideas and visually appealing by applying aesthetic improvements. The second one is to use the TBL factor to add extra value to the content and the tour itself. You can use it to stand out among other guides. You can refer to the TBL Way video for more information about this. The third one is to complete all the tour sections accordingly, providing details and setting the proper expectations for the traveler. Now, we will see some examples of the sections in our platform to see the best practices and what we suggest to avoid. Transportation method. We suggest giving information about the car or van model. If it's a rented car, you can give an example of the type of it: van, compact, 3-seated, etc. If you have the possibility of offering a bigger vehicle for larger groups, you can always request the traveler to contact you for a quote. We suggest that for a regular car to fit a maximum of 3 people, 2 in the back and 1 in the front for the comfort of the traveler. A fourth person could be included in if it's a kid or maybe a very spacious car. Always double check with the traveler to see what is more comfortable for them. The tour duration. When setting it, please consider the traffic or the amount of time driving. Also, cross-check the information if you set it elsewhere as well. This means that if you said it's an 8-hour tour in the itinerary, please check that in the tour duration section you have 8 hours as well. The activity level. Select the most challenging level of activity that customers will experience for this tour. Consider this mostly for hiking tours or others where travelers will have activities. Maximum amount of travelers. Set the upper limit of people you're able to accommodate according to the transportation provided and included in the base price. It needs to be consistent with the price and transportation method you have set for this tour. For walking tours, select the amount you feel comfortable offering the tour. The meeting point. You select the ones that apply taking into account the distances and the transportation method. Sometimes all options could apply depending on the city, but take into consideration the reality of each city and what the tour will be about. If there are several airports, ports, or stations, specify which one is included with the option Limit to. And if you can make a pickup in another one at an extra cost, you can inform the traveler on this section and they could contact you for a quote. For the title and subtitle, we always suggest to use the title and subtitle wisely in order to give information and make it appealing to the traveler at first glance. Just naming the city does not give much information about what is interesting about your tour and why would travelers click on it. You can refer to the CO video for more information about this. Regarding the start times, always remember to select the hours you're available to start the tour. It could be several during the day, a few in the morning and another one in the afternoon. This will depend on the type of tour and the duration. Having preset start times makes it easier for travelers to know the available times and book directly. In case where start times are not flexible due to the schedule of the tour, you can select only 1 or 2 start times. It's okay. For pricing and per person price, always include the main transportation in the base price, which will make the tour and the extra costs adapt to the amount of travelers. If not possible to add it in the per person price, then they should be clearly expressed in the What's Extra section with the approximate cost of each item. Regarding the itinerary, we suggest giving more information so the traveler can understand what the tour will be about, sort of an agenda. Include driving time, if the attractions included are just seen from the outside or going inside. For multi-day tours, we suggest adding the amount of hours per day the guide will be with the travelers. Along with having complete and clear information in the tour content, we highly suggest to take these aesthetic tips into consideration to make the tour easy to read and appealing. Check for misspelling errors in the content. You can always use Google Translator to search out specific words and tools like Grammarly to help you create cohesive text. Consider separating paragraphs, especially for overviews. It is easier to read and more appealing. We will see an example later. Adding bullet points to the itinerary to have clear information about the course of the day in an organized way that will be easier to read. Remember, the itinerary is what the traveler receives with the booking confirmation. You can also refer to the CO video for more information about the itinerary. In the What's Extra, What's Included section, if the text you had input manually repeats the information in the boxes, consider removing the text and checking the boxes. You can give extra information on the text section if needed for cost or other items not included on the checkboxes. We suggest removing photos with people where the attraction or the location is not the main focus of the picture, as travelers would prefer to appreciate the location instead of looking at unknown faces. For tours that include flights and hotel bookings, there are tours including these extra services, but there are things to consider before publishing those tours. The two main points are, first of all, the different cancellation policies between a hotel and an airline and the tours by locals cancellation policy, which means that if there is a tour cancelled, for example, for a force majeure, the traveler will receive a full refund, and this could lead to a potential issue if the hotel or the airline is not aligned with our policy and has a different of their own. The second issue to take into account is that in our platform there is only one review for all these services. This means that the traveler will judge you not only for the tour but for the whole experience. And if for some reason he had a poor experience in the hotel or in the airline, you may suffer from a poor review, even though you provided an excellent tour service. You can always suggest different options, provide information and preferences to the traveler, but it's always best to let the traveler make their own booking. There are exceptions for safaris, desert experience, and locations with complicated logistics where the payment may be cash or tickets and reservations are not easily done by the internet. In those cases, you can include the booking for the flight or for the hotel inside the tour content.